What's cooking, Juventus fans? Welcome back to your old lady's favorite YouTube channel. This week could be a massive one for Juventus. Some decisions need to be made, good or bad, for the outcome of the Mercato for Juventus, as well as do we have another Here We Go on the way? We just had one today. Do we get another one later this week? Stick with us. We'll fill you in. Ciao ragazzi, welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone. My name is Justin Sofro. Today, it's Sunday, July 10th, 2022. And of course, I got your latest rundown of all things Juventus. All the news you care about each and every day. Make sure you smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos. Like I said, please hit the like button, algorithm, all that nonsense. I'm going to keep reiterating it because I know sometimes it takes a second. But guys, please hit that like button. Do that right now while you got time. It's free. Doesn't cost you a thing. Just helps to support the channel. This week has potential to be a massive week for Juventus. Some things, the balls can get rolling, if you will, on multiple different things for Juventus and the outcome of how good this Mercato really is going to pan out in the end. Are we going to add another player, striker, midfielder-ish option? Are we going to add... Well, we are going to add the left back. We already had the Here We Go for that of Cambiaso. What is his future? What does that mean for Juventus? And then, of course, the defense. What are we going to do there? We're going to cover it all in today's video, as well as we're going to keep an eye on it throughout the rest of this week. And, of course, hopefully doesn't drag too much longer into the future. All right, the very first news story up today is talking about Zaniolo. What is going on there? Well, because the Sport are saying that both clubs want to close the deal for Zaniolo as soon as possible. Also because Mourinho would like to have a replacement available as soon as possible too. You've heard the rumors out there. Obviously, it's kind of funny. This is basically it's not really a swap because obviously Juve are losing now because they got to pay more money. They got to pay money. They're getting potentially their guy on a free. Not as valuable as the target as it used to be, but it sure appears that Roma potentially are going after the likes of Dybala to end up replacing Zaniolo when he leaves for Juventus. Juventus are getting a younger player, a player who has hopefully a high ceiling that has a lot to prove. We'll talk about that, of course, later this week. We'll dive into the player. I know Alejandro, Julian, and myself all have differing viewpoints when it comes to him, but overall, in this Mercato, what it means, especially for Dybala in his situation, well, he's getting stuck. And when I say stuck, Roma's still a solid landing spot, right? But it ain't Juventus. It ain't Inter. It ain't playing Champions League. It's not doing any of that. So it's kind of how far we've fallen if we look at Dybala and where he's sitting right now. I know this is talking about Zaniolo, but I just felt like I had to throw that in there. When it comes to Zaniolo, though, it looks like both, you're not dealing with a tug of war, a really vitriolic departure or anything like that. It seems like both sides are ready to get this deal done, and they're happy to get it going after all. Continue to the second part. This is Gazzetta dello Sport, who is talking about the price numbers, the figures when it comes to Juventus, saying that Juventus are ready to submit their 10 million euro loan option plus 40 million euros obligation to buy for Zaniolo. With the player, there is an agreement for a deal until 2027 at 4 million euros per season. 4 million euros per season, I think that's fine for Juventus to pay that. I don't know if I fully believe these estimations, especially because there's been late reports here the last, 24, 48 hours, that basically Roma are coming down. They're willing to come down a little bit to 40 to 45 million euros. If you're telling me Juve are paying 10 plus 40, I can understand some trepidation from some fans out there. But if you're telling me instead that Juve are paying, 10, 12 million euros for a loan, and they're going to pay something around 30 million euros after that, split it to 15, something like that, that's much more doable for Juventus long term. So we'll see what happens there. Something to keep an eye on, how that develops, but that seems to be the money, and I understand a lot of fans are trepidatious when it comes to how much Juve are spending, especially when it comes to every fan now thinks that they are, of course, Juve's they're their accountant, if you will. All right, let's move it on to the next big news of the day. And, of course, that is De Ligt. What's going on with him? Well, Corriere dello Sport reporting saying to get Juve to agree to a transfer, an offer of at least 90 million euros is needed. However, Bayern would seem to be ready to formulate a lower bid. Strong in the player's will. This is why the situation risks becoming more and more complicated. One other little side note to this. Latest reports, I think Romeo Gradesti kind of confirmed it, but he kind of used the terminology of could instead of for sure is happening. But it appears there's going to be a meeting with Bayern and Juventus tomorrow that will be happening. And also during this meeting, we're expecting that Bayern are going to put their first proposal down. Is it going to be more than the expected 50 55 to 65 million euro range. We'll see, but we'll see. I'm sure Juventus will have to turn down a few offers before they get anywhere close to what Juve really want, which I think is probably at least, even though we say 90 is what we're going to get it done, I could see maybe coming somewhere in the 80, 85 million euro range. All right, let's continue on to talking about, obviously, what's going on when it comes to his replacement. And that, of course, Koulibaly, the topic that has been the topic for the last few days, really weeks, if we're being honest. Gazette dello Sport reporting saying that Koulibaly is still the favorite. Even if yesterday, Giuntoli, am I saying that right? I always struggle, even though my name would technically be a GI name in Italian. Giuntoli? Anyway, whatever. Has reaffirmed that they will not sell to Juventus. I agree with Juve. If that's what they're doing, they're calling them on their bluff. If you're Napoli, you gotta talk big bleep. You gotta try to put it on the table. It's not as big as Juve's it, if you will, but they're trying to put it on the table and just say, hey, we're going to play hardball. We're not doing this. We don't believe it. And you got to put on a show for fans, right? Because Napoli fans are not going to be happy that you're sending potentially one of their best players out to Juventus, of all people, a rival. And then, of course, somebody that looks down upon you and your poverty program. So we'll see what happens here. We'll continue to watch this. I still have a feeling that Juve, since they've settled in and they set their sights so firmly on Koulibaly, knowing Koulibaly's agent Ramadani is pro-Juventus, is trying to push a move to Juventus, some things could fall into place positively for the club moving forward. Let's continue on. Talk about the other option that is out there. Bremer, we all know about it. We all know the player, obviously the defensive player of the year for the Serie A as a whole. Will Juventus go after him? Well, Gazette dello Sport is saying that Bremer is liked, but there is for some time the pressure of Inter, even if the Bianconeri could have convincing arguments for Torino, like Ranocchia, for whom in recent hours Toro has contacted the Bianconeri to officially manifest its interest in the player. So, right now, depending on how things go for Inter, it appears Bremer will end up going to Inter, especially given that Inter have had this agreement with him and the player for a long time, as well as it appears that Skriniar is making a move there, going to PSG, which will open up that slot and open up that money for Bremer to come to the club. So it may be a dead dream, but just something to keep an eye on in case things fall apart. Maybe you could try to throw in a guy like Ranocchia to just knock off like a couple of sixpence, I guess. But really, you're still going to be paying a hefty fee there to get him in. We'll see. It's not dead until it's done. Until the ink's on the paper, it's not done, so we'll see what happens. And then the final bit of news today, we're talking about the guy who is somewhat a bane of my existence, but we got to talk about him, is talking about Paredes at PSG. Corriere dello Sport talking about Juventus and PSG are in talks for Paredes, who is open to a move. A player could be included in the deal. You know my opinion on it. I don't think Pineda is that good of a player. Right now, they've had valuations of about 50 million euros is what they want for him. And I've seen that drop down to like 35. But I still think a player that's kind of washed and that's kind of seeing his opportunity pass by right now should be less than that. I'm talking 25, 20, something like that, if we're being honest. A swap deal with Moise Kean, whatever you have you. We'll keep an eye on it. Like I said, Paredes, let's hold up. Let's do this last second deal if we have to do it. And again, I'd like to see other guys end up leaving. Artur, Ramsey, Rabiot, yada, yada, yada. Clear all that out and you bring him in. Then I can live with it. I can be okay with it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. That'll do it for today's edition of the Daily News. Like I said, let me know all your comments in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, please hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, hit the bell icon to stay notified for all our latest videos. I'll see you guys next time. Forza Juve, Forza Bianconeri.